Hello to everyone, and welcome to your weekly MTA plan work video for the Queens Subways and Long Island Railroad for the weekend of Friday, December 28th, 2018, and lasting until Monday, December 31st, 2018. Figuring out that, of course, it is the last weekend of the year 2018. I would like to wish everyone a happy new year, and I will do the same thing again next week. So obviously I'm uploading a little bit earlier than I normally would because it is the holiday season. I'm in the giving spirit, and we will go back to, of course, the normal 6 a.m. upload time for the new year, which will be at 6 a.m. on Friday, January 4th, 2019, where it will be for that weekend and going until Monday, January 7th, 2019. So that being all said and done, let's go to this week's presentation. Here are the schedules for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. On New Year's Eve, Monday, December 31st, 2018, New York City buses and subways will be running on a reduced weekday schedule. However, the Long Island Railroad will run on a regular weekday schedule. On New Year's Day, Tuesday, January 1st, 2019, the Long Island Railroad, along with New York City buses and subways, will run on a Sunday/holiday schedule. Speaking of the Long Island Railroad, there is no planned work this weekend. That's excellent. Also want to get it over with already. There is no planned work also on the 7 line this weekend. Another weekend without the M train. You've probably figured it out by now if you remember what happened last weekend. And it's the same time frame, so please pay attention if, the first time you're hearing this. December 28th through the 31st, 9:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. Free shuttle buses in the J will replace M trains because of track replacement. M service is completely suspended. Free shuttle buses will run between Middle Village, Metropolitan Avenue, and Myrtle Avenue in Bushwick all weekend. For service between Myrtle Avenue and Delonte Essex Street, you can take the J line. Is the R affected in Queens? Good news is R service will be available this weekend. How's the E train looking? Well, this is until 5 a.m. on New Year's Eve, Monday, December 31st. E trains will be rerouted via the F in both directions because of upgrades to track signal and the power between West 4th Street and Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. Use nearby F stations on 6th Avenue. You can also use the 7A, C, D, or R lines and or Lexington Avenue 4 local or 6 to complete your trip. For Queens Plaza, you can use the N, R, or 7 days and evenings. And for Court Square, 23rd Street, you can use the 7 days and evenings. I also want to quickly mention that W service, if you're not familiar with it, does not run on weekends. You can transfer at West 4th Street for the A and the C line to get around any 8th Avenue station. Times Square, 42nd Street, Port Authority for the 7, A, C, and R trains. 47 50th Street for the D, and of course the E will be stopping there. 21st Street, Queensbridge for the E, F, and shuttle bus, and or 74th Street, Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights for the 7, E, or R train. Overnight, free shuttle buses will connect Court Square 23rd Street for the 7 line, 21st Street Queensbridge for the E and the F, and Queensboro Plaza. On the F train, I want to go into some good news and bad news. The good news is F train service will not be impacted at all in Queens this weekend between 21st Street, Queensbridge, and Jamaica 179th Street. However, some bad news, and this is for people on the G line, and we'll get to the G line in just a second because this is very important. December 28th through the 31st, 10:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. F service between Bergen Street and Stillwell Avenue will be replaced by the G line via transfer at Hoyt-Schermerhorn Street in downtown Brooklyn because of electrical improvements. F trains from Manhattan will make C stops from J Street Metrotech to Euclid Avenue, the last stop on the C line. Queens-bound F trains will originate at Euclid Avenue, making local stops along the C line to West 4th Street, where trains will resume regular service. For York Street, you can use the nearby High Street Aid Station. For East Broadway and Broadway Lafayette, you can use the Brooklyn Brown F via transfer at West 4th Street or J Street Metrotech. For Delancey Street, you can take the J train via Fulton Street. As we'll get to the G, same time frame. So remember, I'm going to recap this. G service is going to be running to and from Coney Island Stillwell Avenue, replacing the F in Brooklyn because of electrical improvements. So, I quickly want to mention to the rail fanners, this is a good weekend for them, good way for them to go on a bang. So if you are a rail fanner, which I do get a lot of them for these videos, this is a good weekend for you to check this out, because it's going to be interesting to see the G train run all the way to Coney Island Stillwell Avenue this weekend. So that's certainly something to look forward to if the rail fanners are paying attention, of course. Once again, transfer between trains at Hoyt-Schermerhorn Street in downtown Brooklyn. Any work on the N in Queens? N service will be available this weekend in Queens. Quickly get that out of the way. Not a good end for the J train in 2018. So this is going to begin on Friday, December 28th at 9:30 p.m. Friday until 5 a.m. Monday, January 7th. Shuttle buses and the E will replace J trains between on 21st Street and Jamaica Center because of track reconstruction. J trains will run between Broad Street and 121st Street. Free shuttle buses will run between 121st Street and Jamaica Van Wyck, where the E will be available to and from Jamaica Center. Transfer between trains and free shuttle buses at Jamaica Van Wyck E and or 121st Street J Station. Good news for the A is that there is no planned work on the entire line this weekend. That includes, of course, in Far Rockaway and for service going to JFK Airport. Next up, we are going to talk about extra Long Island Railroad service that will be available for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So, we are now at the Long Island Railroad Service Changes website, where, as I've just mentioned, we are now going to talk about the extra service that will be available on the Long Island Railroad for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So, here's what we have right here. On New Year's Eve, December 31st, which will be Monday, the Long Island Railroad will operate 20 extra westbound trains to Penn Station for those attending the New Year's Eve ball drop at Times Square. The extra trains will be as follows. On the Port Jefferson branch, we have 4:55 train going to Huntington, Cold Spring Harbor, Syosset, Hicksville, Jamaica, and Penn Station. I also want to mention this train right here. I'll highlight it. Is very important because there is a special westbound 6:39 p.m. train that will leave Huntington, going to Cold Spring Harbor, Syosset, Hicksville, Jamaica, and then express to Atlantic Terminal. Now, there is a reason why there is an extra train going to Atlantic Terminal. Because Bruno Mars is actually performing at Barclays Center that evening. In case you don't know who he is a Grammy-nominated recording artist, best known for the hit single "That's What I Like." If you don't know what that song is, I'm not going to go into it. Anyhow, back on topic. 6:59 p.m. train will leave Hicksville, going all local stops to Jamaica, then to Penn Station. 7:10 p.m. This is an interesting one. Long Island Railroad will run a diesel train from Port Jefferson, then going local to Huntington, Hicksville, Jamaica, then Penn Station. 2 trains, 7:38 p.m. and 8:25 train, Huntington, local to Jamaica, then Penn Station. Now, let's talk about my branch. And I'm sorry for saying that, but lately, the Long Beach branch has become my branch because, again, the trains go express to Penn Station from Jamaica. But anyhow, let me go back on track. We have 2 trains on my Long Beach branch, 5:42 p.m. train and 8:14 p.m. train Long Beach. Both trains will be going to Penn Station. Keeping in mind, both trains will be stopping at Island Park, Oceanside, East Rockaway, Center Avenue, Limbrook, Valley Stream, then to Jamaica. So that way, if anybody was wondering, all the local stops, again, I know it by heart because remember, I've been using the Long Beach branch regularly since the fall, so that's why I remember it very well. On the Babylon branch, let's see what we got. We got 1 train going to the Bruno Mars concert, going to Atlantic Terminal, 5:45 p.m. Babylon, local to Rockville Center, Jamaica, and Atlantic Terminal. Then, believe it or not, we have 4 trains, 6:20 p.m., 7:24 p.m., 8:09 p.m., 9:25 p.m. All trains. Oh, my bad, 3 of them. 6:20, 8:09, and 9:25. 3 trains right here, local to Rockville Center, then Jamaica and Penn Station. We have a 7:24 p.m. train, which will be going to Freeport, leaving from Freeport. Then local to Rockville Center, Jamaica, and Penn Station. Hopefully these trains will be stopping in Limbrook. I hope they are, because Limbrook does need the extra service on New Year's Eve. Just saying. Now it's the Port Washington branch. 7:07 Great Neck train, which will be going local to Woodside and then Penn Station. 8:42 p.m. train, which will be leaving Port Washington, local to Woodside and Penn Station. Hempstead branch. We have a 7:36 p.m. train, Hempstead, local to Jamaica and Penn Station. So this is a rarity that we actually have a Hempstead train going to Penn Station. That's interesting. I've not seen that in a long time. It's very impressive. Alright. We have another train going to the Bruno Mars concert at Atlantic Terminal, which will be the 6:50 p.m. train from Ronkonkoma, going local to Wyandanch, Farmingdale, Bethpage, Jamaica, and its last stop to the Bruno Mars concert at Atlantic Terminal. We have 2 westbound trains, 7:42 p.m. and 8:40 p.m. trains from Ronkonkoma, going local to Wyandanch, Farmingdale, Bethpage, Hicksville, Mineola, Jamaica, Penn Station. Okay, this is an epic fail right here. Take a look at this. I have to highlight this. If I can't, I'm sorry, but I'll highlight it like this. Looks like we have a typo on the Long Island Railroad website. Oh, well. Too bad. You know who probably did that. We're not going to say her name. Alright, last but not least, Montauk Branch Sparnik. We have an 8:03 p.m. Sparnik train, which will be a diesel, going local to Babylon, then stopping at Jamaica and Penn Station. And last but not least, we have extra eastbound New Year's Day service. On Tuesday, January 1st, the Long Island Railroad will operate 15 extra eastbound trains from Penn Station and 4 extra trains from Atlantic Terminal for those returning home after attending the Times Square ball drop or the Bruno Mars concert. Yes, there we go. Extra trains will be from the Port Washington branch. 12:35 a.m. train to Woodside, Flushing Main Street, and then all local stops to Port Washington. Same at 2:19 a.m. and 4:19 a.m. Now, let's go to the 3 trains that will be making all local stops to Ronkonkoma. 12:49 a.m., 2:02 a.m., and 3:54 a.m. trains, which will be stopping at Jamaica, Mineola, Hicksville, and then all local stops to Ronkonkoma. And more importantly, for those leaving the Bruno Mars concert, which is scheduled to end at 1:30 in the morning, or 1:15. That's what I've heard online, that the concert's going to end, obviously, right around 1 o'clock in the morning, which, it's New Year's Day, I can understand that. But anyhow, 1:37 a.m. train from Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn going to Jamaica, Mineola, Hicksville, and all stops to Ronkonkoma. On the Babylon branch, 1:13 a.m. train to Jamaica, Rockville Center. Another epic fail! I have to highlight this. Oh, this is just too good. This is just too good. I have to. I'm sorry, but when I see an epic fail, it has to be reported by yours truly. Anyhow, we have 2 trains on the Babylon branch scheduled to leave after the Bruno Mars concert at Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn. 1:34 and 2:04 a.m. train from Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn going to Jamaica, Limbrook, and all stops to Babylon. And then lastly, 2:11, 2:59, 3:29 a.m. trains. Good news is these 3 trains will be stopping at Limbrook. And then all stops to Babylon. I know, I love doing the voice because, again, I'm not going to get into the most service, but that's what you get. Anyhow, back to the Montauk branch. We have a special 1:30 a.m. diesel train scheduled to go to Jamaica, Rockville Center, and then all stops to Sparnik. On the Port Jefferson Huntington branch, we have a 1:54 a.m. train to Jamaica, New Hyde Park, and then all stops to Huntington. Same with the 2:44 a.m. train. And more importantly, we have another diesel train leaving at 3 a.m. from Penn Station to Jamaica, New Hyde Park, and then all local stops to Port Jefferson. And then lastly, 2:14 a.m. train from Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn to Jamaica, New Hyde Park, and all stops to Huntington. And then lastly, on my Long Beach branch, we have the 2:44 a.m. train to Jamaica, Valley Stream, Limbrook, Center Avenue, Oceanside, Island Park, and the last stop, Long Beach. So, with that being well said, couple quick notes. Atlantic Terminal train schedule subject to the completion of the Barclays Center concert event. First departure, approximately 20 minutes after the show ends. And more importantly, the MTA police will be enforcing an alcohol ban starting from noon on Monday, December 31st, 2018 to noon on January 1st, 2019. That is interesting. I didn't mention this in the presentation, but let's confirm the extra service right here. Here we go. So this is very important as well. We have 13 extra trains on Friday, December 28th, and again on Monday, December 31st, for those leaving early on New Year's Eve weekend and or on New Year's Eve in specific. The additional trains will depart Penn Station as follows. On the Ronkonkoma branch, 12:46 p.m. train to Woodside, Jamaica, Mineola, Hicksville, local to Ronkonkoma. Same with the 1:49 p.m. train on the Babylon branch. 1:28 p.m. express to Rockville Center, local to Babylon. 1:56 p.m. train to Jamaica, Rockville Center, local to Babylon. 2:22 express to Rockville Center, local to Babylon. 2:32 express to Limbrook, local to Babylon. 3 p.m. train to Jamaica, Rockville Center, local to Babylon. 3:31 p.m. express to Rockville Center, local to Babylon. On the Port Jefferson branch, 2:08 train from Jamaica, Mineola, local to Huntington. 2:29 train to Forest Hills, Kew Gardens, Jamaica, New Hyde Park, local to Huntington. 3:24 p.m. train to Jamaica, Mineola, Westbury, and Hicksville. Last two branches in the Port Washington branch, 3:40 train to Woodside, Flushing Main Street, and all stops where the train will be terminating at Great Neck. And on the Far Rockaway branch, 3:48 train to Locust Manor, Laurelton, Rosedale, Valley Stream, and all local stops to Far Rockaway. And once again, these trains will be available on Friday, December 28th, and on Monday, December 31st. And I quickly want to mention, I know it is relatable to this, the next time most likely we are going to get the extra train service back on the railroad is most likely on Friday, January 18th for Martin Luther King weekend. The next case scenario for that to, of course, take place would be on Friday, February 15th, when it will be, of course, President's Day weekend. So that is most likely that we will see the extra service back. Worst comes to worst, the scenario could always be for the weekend of Easter, which will be in the spring, of course, so I'll keep you all posted on that. But with that out of the way, once again, Happy New Year. I'll say it again next week anyway, but be responsible on New Year's Eve. That's all I'm going to say. So until the next one, please take care.